good to us. God has been so good to us. The third one we're praying for is issue of security. But then the problem is still with us in the nation. But I don't know how many of you noticed that as we enter the month of September, things changed. Things changed. Things changed. Suddenly, everybody now began to take the matter seriously. From the month of September, even the federal government was ready to fight. So they went after all the people they should go after. It has so changed within those periods, just 4 weeks, that a few days ago a senator from one of the northwestern states stood in the Senate and made an appeal that the Senate should tell the president to declare bandits as terrorists. I'm sure some of you heard that news. And others supported him, and that their leaders should be declared wanted. But they've been saying this thing before. And these were the same northern leaders defending I'm not even sure the government can say by how much they have done. But one thing the president said a few days ago is, we are fighting the war and we are winning the war. In August, every time you want to travel, your heart is beating. By September, things are calming down. We are not there yet. But there's reason to do what? To thank God. There's reason to thank God. We need to tell ourselves this so that it will not look like God hates this country. No. Or like God is not answering our prayers. No. God is answering our prayers. God is answering our prayers. Don't worry about naira and dollar when you get to a position to spend it. The God who gave you naira, he will also give you what? He will give you dollars. He will give you dollars. But then, what we are looking for is not just progress. We want these things to end. The pandemic should end. The economic problem should end. Banditry, Boko Haram, all of those terrorists, essentialists should also end. And that brings us now to 2 Samuel chapter 24, where we read, how do you finally get God to stop the plague? How do you finally get God to stop the plague? Now, don't forget what happened. David numbered Israel, and God became angry. And out of his anger, he gave David 3 options. David picked one of the options, and the option led to the killing of people. The wind just blew in the hand of an angel, and people were just dying. And then at a point, God said, okay, pause. Like we said, just hold on. And then God was a prophet. He was one of those prophets who see for David. You see, for David. So God went and told David, you know what? The way this thing is going, why don't you go and build an altar? Go and raise an altar to God. Go and raise an altar to God. Many times, God works with principles. And if you miss out on the principles for whatever reason, you will suffer. You will suffer. Go and raise an altar. That was what God said to David. I don't know, maybe David didn't even remember that, but as soon as God said it, he said, yeah. Oh, thank you. Quickly. He went. He got to the place he was to raise the altar. And the man said, if it is an altar to God to stop this problem, I am suffering too. Take it and build the altar. David said, no. You don't build altar on free land, on freebies. You build altars with what will cost you something. It's a principle. So he bought the place. And once he bought the altar, what he would do on that altar would determine how God will respond thereafter. So what did David do? Verse 25. David built there an altar to the Lord, and on that altar, the Bible said, he offered burnt offerings and peace offerings on the altar to the Lord. Burnt offerings and peace offerings. That's intentional. Very, very intentional. Now, when you read Leviticus chapter 1, verse 1 to 17, Leviticus chapter 1, verse 1 to 17, and Leviticus chapter 6, verse 8 to 13, Leviticus chapter 6, 8 to 13, two passages, Leviticus 1, 1 to 17, 6, 8 to 13. You will find the instruction about burnt offerings there. Now, burnt offerings are a special. There are 5 kinds of offerings that God demanded from them. And each one of them have their significance. But the first offering was burnt offering. And interestingly, from the way Leviticus 1 put it, the last one was peace offering. When do you offer burnt offering? Burnt offerings are offered to appease God when God is angry, and to show that you want to totally surrender to him anew. Burnt offering is to express your devotion, worship, and commitment to God. So when David was going to offer, the first thing he did was to offer burnt offerings, saying to God, don't be angry with us again. I am leaving this nation in your hand in a new way. I am surrendering it to you. You know, the error he made first was to claim leadership and number the people as if it's all his own. But by offering burnt offering, he was saying, God, I surrender all, over surrender to you. The second offering he offered were peace offerings. You find instruction about peace offering in Leviticus chapter 3, 1 to 17. Leviticus chapter 3, 1 to 17. And then Leviticus chapter 7. Chapter 7, 11 to 21 and 28 to 34. Leviticus chapter 7, verse 11 to 21 and 28 to 34. When you read about peace offerings are offerings of seeking friendship with God. You want God to be your friend. You want to seek a renewed union, a renewed fellowship with God. You want to let God know, notwithstanding all that has happened, I appreciate you. I can't do without you. I want you to be my friend all over again. And usually, it ends with a feast. So everybody eats before God to show that now we are not fighting anymore. Now, these were the two that David offered. And by offering those two, what David was saying is, God, I totally surrender to you. And let's be friends again. Let's be friends again. Be the friend of our nation again. Let's be friends. Let's make peace. Let's have new fellowship. And as soon as David offered the two, what happened? The plague ended. The plague ended. He said, so the Lord heeded the prayers for the land, and the plague was withdrawn from Israel. Two, 3 days ago, only God knows the volume of prayers that went on for this nation. God answers prayer. But, just like we saw earlier, prayers move at its own pace. Bam, 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 bam. David wanted this thing to stop now. And what did he do? He built an altar. What did he do on the altar? He surrendered everything back to God and sought a new friendship with God. If you are God too, and you are angry with somebody, and the person comes to seek friendship with you again, what happened to your anger? It will cease. Do you know that children know how to do this thing more than adults? When you are angry with a child and you cane the child will cry. And realizing that, I may be the one who really did wrong. What will the child do? It will come back to you. The child that you beat that was crying just a while ago will still come to you, carry me, and want you to smile and let's make peace, let's make peace, let's make peace. And what do? You carry the child. Once you carry the child, what happened to your anger? It goes away. It goes away. God has no problem stopping the plague. David prayed. If you read earlier, you will find that David prayed. But things were moving slowly. He just paused the situation. He didn't change it. He didn't stop the plague. But once he raised an altar and put his burnt offering and his peace offering on that altar, the matter ended. I don't know how many of you understand what we're saying. The issues of this nation is waiting for men and women that will build fresh altar and offer the kind of offering on that altar that will make God to act immediately. Immediately. You will notice the ending of verse 25. He said, so the Lord heeded the prayer. Now, David didn't pray at the altar. He had prayed before. But it's like even the prayer was waiting for the sacrifice, for speed to be answered. There are many things in your life too, waiting for an altar. The issue of this land is waiting for people that will raise altar unto the Lord and place upon it an offering of total surrender, and then an offering of renewed friendship. Because before the friendship can be renewed, we will be reconciled, and then new thing can begin to take place. I am trusting God that between now and the end of this year, the challenges of your life will come to an end. I'm trusting God that between now and the end of this year, the challenges of this nation will come to an end. But the truth is that if this will be, then we must totally surrender our lives, our situation and challenges to Him again. We must totally surrender our land to Him again. And in addition to surrendering it to Him, we must seek renewed friendship with God. Let God be my friend all over again. Let God be the friend of this nation all over again. When there is reconciliation and renewed friendship, the things of the past are put behind us. We all turn a new page so we can move on from there. Without underestimating or undermining the sacrifice of Jesus, like we said earlier, God worked with principles. All the things that God told them in Leviticus, offer this, offer this, offer this. When you read it carefully, God doesn't eat meat. He doesn't eat meat. But you know what he was doing? Telling them the principle of relating with him. When you do this, my relationship with you will be this, will be this, will be this. And sometimes out of our laziness or unwillingness, we just hang everything on Jesus. You just forget that you were not the one who offered Jesus. Who offered Jesus? It was God who offered Jesus. But the offering is demanding who should offer it. It's you. It's you. There is no good relationship that will not cost both parties something. No good relationship will not cost both parties something. So God has offered Jesus as his own part for the relationship. And he has given us principles by which we also can offer our own part to be sure that the relationship becomes what God wants it to be. So what are we saying therefore? At the point where we are now, there is a need for you and for me. If I love this nation, to offer an offering of total surrender, to resurrender this nation to God. There is a need, like David did, to offer to God an offering of reconciliation and seeking of new friendship with God. There's also a need to do the same for my life. If you understand what we are saying, there are some issues in your life that will not respond quickly to prayers. Prayers, don't forget we said, move at its own pace. You can't hurry it. Answer to prayer will come when it will come. But when you back up your prayer with an altar, and you offer on those altars the appropriate sacrifices, speedy answer will come. Speedy answer will come. And some of you, when you look at your life and the issues around you, what you are saying is, God, the pace at which answer is coming is slow. Can't you do it faster for me? And God is saying to you today, look at what others did to get quicker answer. When you do it, you also will get quicker and faster answer. I hope you understand what we are saying today, because we're about to pray. We're about to pray, and I pray that God will give you wider understand. What we're saying today is deeper. Some of us, you may need to hear it again and again and again and again. Those of us who love to pray for this nation, get this afresh. Speed up answer. Like building an altar. Two kinds of offering David offered. Offering to surrender, offering to seek renewed friendship with God. Maybe that is what the situation